and welcome to my YouTube Live. I am sitting here and I need to do a little bit of my therapy stuff, and so I figured what better way to do it than to come on here and talk through it with a community, hopefully, of people that understand and might be going through something, you know, similar themselves. And so, anyway, I am pretty self reflective today because I have been thinking a lot about where I'm at with my therapy, and I think that this has been such a rough year for me that I need to really take like a inventory, if you will, of like really where am I at and where do I want to be this year. And so if you're in the same boat and you're joining, I just want you to know that the comments are open. I'd love to hear from you, hear how you're dealing with, you know, different things. So I will actually start a poll. Do you believe in therapy? Do you believe that it could be something that could help you out? I think that it are we back? Okay. Um, I really had like a strong belief that it could help me. Um, I started DBT therapy this year, and basically what that is it's dialect behavioral therapy, and they talk a lot about mindfulness and meditation and things like that. And I think that for someone that has been through a lot of trauma and a lot of kind of crazy things in their life, it can be easy, if you will, to have your mind racing so much that you forget to stop and, you know, think and all of that. So I think that therapy has taught me how to stop and be mindful, and that was really difficult for me in the beginning. You know, it's hard to turn the thoughts off. It's hard to, you know, turn off the trauma that built you, if you will. I don't know if anybody out there understands that or can relate to that, but it's always been very hard for me to turn off the trauma that built me. And so, you know, I just think that what I'd like to do is figure out a way to not have every situation in my life pop up with, you know, the trauma that I've had. So like I'm driving, you know, down the road, and you know somebody cuts me off. It's more than oh my gosh, this person cut me off. It's this feeling of inadequacy all the time when you're dealing with like past trauma. So like somebody cuts you off in traffic and it's immediately, well, why wasn't I driving fast enough? Or maybe I was driving too slow, or, you know, well, gosh, why do they get to do that and get to go first, if you will? I was being patient, I was doing the right thing. And so every single thought that you have, every single situation that you're in, it can bring you right back to the part of you that was affected by that trauma. And so DBT therapy has helped me become a little bit more mindful of the fact that not everything out in the world is against you. It just because, something happens, it doesn't mean it's because you're not worthy or you're not good enough or whatever. But like, that's just the way that my brain has always been trained to think. If something doesn't go right, somebody cuts me off in traffic, I don't get the job promotion, I trip and I fall, like, it's all because I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not doing something right. And therapy has kind of helped me retrain my brain that no, sometimes you just trip. Sometimes people just cut you off in traffic. Like, I don't know if that's like the best. Yeah, James, therapy is good, right? Like, I've been doing DBT therapy for quite a bit now. And I think that being able to also understand where some of my trauma responses are coming from has been really helpful. Thank you. I don't know how to say your username, but thank you. Merry Christmas, James. But yeah, I DBT in particular has really helped. If you guys have ever been in therapy, what type of therapy have you done? Just out of curiosity, because talk therapy is good, all of that. But I think that the first thing that I started with DBT was mindfulness. And the way that you do that, and it's actually incredibly difficult if you have a lot of trauma and you have a lot of, just things that you're working on in your mind. If you're one of those people like me where your thoughts are kind of always going and always on, it's hard to be quiet for a second, to be mindful for a second. And it's hard to deprogram your mind from constantly going to find that next trauma response. And so I had to literally practice being mindful and being quiet and allowing silence to take up space in my world, which I was not used to, because silence meant something was around the corner, something was going to be happening. So, for me, I found it incredibly difficult to just sit and maybe just listen to the sounds, because while I'm listening to the sounds, I'm thinking about, oh, I hear an airplane. Oh, there was that one time in the airport when such and such happened. Like, things like that, right? So it's incredibly difficult to get started with mindfulness. But one of the things that helped me was actually like looking around my surroundings. So if we did that right now and we looked around my surroundings right now, I'm sitting on my back porch. And the way that I would do this is I would say, okay, the sun is shining so bright and it's hitting my face and it's warm and it's going to be probably warm today, right? And so I can think about the sun and I can think about what the sun does, and I can look at the pile of crap that's in my backyard and think about how I have a burn pile that I need to burn. And all of these things, I'm notating my surroundings. The grass is very green. It's very luscious there in the back. And I have a chair and it's red right here. It's all about like how to be just mindful of the things that are going on around you, and not focusing so much on the inside of the brain. So I'm not thinking about, thoughts and, my trauma. I'm thinking about objects. I'm thinking about, what's happening. So, I'm thinking about the way that the air feels on my skin versus the way that trauma made me feel. Does that make sense? So I have found that type of therapy to be really, really helpful, and you know, it's gotten me to a place where I can get out of my head a little bit, because I just lived in there for so long. I lived in this warped reality that everything was my fault. Everything was my problem to solve. And DBT therapy really helped me kind of realize that I don't, not everything is my fault. Not everything is because I did something wrong. It's, it's so much more, you know? I think the other thing that I've learned in therapy this year is that you can you can have control of your life without being too controlling. And hi, how are you? Be too controlling over your life. I mean, I think back to my childhood and some of the things that I've had to go through, and I don't, it's hard because I don't always know how to deal with my kids because I wasn't necessarily given the best roadmap, if you will, for how to deal. Like, I feel like I was always overstimulated with my kids when they were younger. And I didn't know that I had ADHD, and I didn't know that I, had all of this like unresolved stuff. And I wish that I had been more healed when I had them. But I also think that they taught me a lot about forgiveness. Kids are one of the, like, having kids is like one of the most unforgiving but most beautiful things that you could ever do in life if you're, blessed enough and you want to go down that path. And I feel like, they've taught me so much about not only forgiving myself, but what it means to forgive someone else, because it's hard to lay stuff down and say, hey, mom made this decision to yell about something the other night and I'm really sorry. And to have them actually like go, oh, it's okay, mom, like, don't worry about it. We know that you were overwhelmed. We know that you were stressed out. We know that you didn't mean to do that, or whatever the case may be, right? Like, it's it's just one of those things where I want to do better for them. I want them to have better than I had when I was growing up. And you still kind of feel like you come up short because hindsight's 2020, right? You've got this person that you're responsible for, and you are also responsible for yourself and the bills and this, that, and the other. And it can get difficult when you're trying to navigate all of those things. You're young and you have been through a lot of, trying times, traumatic times. So like, I just didn't know how to be like a good parent. I was raised with you don't have a say, you don't have feelings, you are not supposed to have feelings or express those feelings. Children are seen, not heard. And when you're heard, you're probably going to get a spanking, like, you're probably going to get in trouble. And so the atmosphere wasn't open. It wasn't like, hey, talk to me, like, tell me what's going on. And I really try to be like that with my kids. I really try hard to say, I'm going to listen to their needs. I'm going to listen to what they have to say. And whether I like it or not, whether I feel like I agree with it or not, it's important that they have that respect, I think, number one, to be heard, and then number two, to not only be heard. When you hear someone, when you listen to what someone says, then you take that and you can act upon it, right? So sometimes my kids will tell me like, oh, I didn't like it when this happened, or I didn't like it when that happened. And again, like, I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to necessarily approve, or, and I don't even necessarily have to change it. But what I do need to do is make sure that they know that I'm listening, and make sure that they know that I'm here, and that they have the ability to say what they need to say. So I just figured I'd get on here for a little bit and kind of talk. And I'm hitting writer's block so bad right now. I'm trying to write a book, and I just think that I am kind of like all over the place right now, and I need to figure out my focus, and I need to figure out how I want to move next year. Like, I think another thing is that I had dinner with my in-laws last night, and I do a lot of stuff on TikTok, and they were kind of joking around about it or whatever. And I remember a time when I used to be able to talk about my six-figure job, not what I was posting on TikTok. And I know that that sounds like a little bit of a, oh, she's got to talk about her six-figure job, but I was successful, and I don't necessarily feel successful now. I feel like I am maybe a little bit stagnant, and I need to find direction. And maybe it's here on social media, and maybe it's not. I always imagined myself helping people, and that's really just what I've always wanted to do. And I used to have, the church. I used to go to church a lot, but when my son came out as gay, the church was not very open about it. They were not supportive about it. And so I think that I gained from that, why would I go to a place every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday, I was going quite a bit. Why would I go to a place and worship a God that says that he won't love a human being because of the choices that they're making, or not? It's not even a choice for some people. I don't want to debate that. I can't imagine a God that wouldn't love his child regardless. And so that was really difficult for me, and I ended up leaving, but that's how I helped people. And so I don't really know, I think, what to do now, because it's not that I don't want to be a Christian, or I don't want to have a relationship with God. It's just that I can't promote that type of thing knowing the implications for, like, my son, if that makes sense, which I don't know if it does. I don't know if it does. I know the goal is to keep talking on here, and I'm trying to make it 30 minutes. I told myself I would do 30 minutes a day on these apps if I was serious about it. And so just trying to get that 30 minutes in, but I don't think I'm going to make it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get off of here.